So now we're going to enter to the last and final, which tends to be the most fun and gets pretty good reviews. The best reviews actually of the sessions, because they're fast and they're just to the point. We nickname it sponsor speed dating. In future summits, we're actually going to do some live speed dating because I'm going to have some live summits coming up. I'm working on that now, but this one is still virtual. So let's pull up Matt Winter. Matt from Ford. This is the first time I've had Ford on a summit, and I'm really excited about having them involved because Ford is a global presence in off-road, obviously. And Matt himself, we talked a lot earlier on the call today with Ryan Arciero and Dave Cole and Matt Burrows. And we talked about Jason Coleman from Eibach about V2R Vegas to Reno. Well, Matt, you just came back from Vegas to Reno. How was it?
Oh, it was great out there. A little warm for my taste coming from Michigan, but we had a lot of fun, got a lot of sand in our teeth, and had a great race. So.
I bet. I bet. Well, since I only have you for 15 minutes, I'm going to try to cover everything about sponsorships and Ford as I can in 15 minutes, if that's okay. We're going to talk fast, but let's just go
That'd
over
be
the
great.
basics. Well, why does Ford sponsor off-road? What do you expect out of it?
Oh, we expect a lot out of it. We're trying to promote a lot of our consumer products. Right now, I think we have probably one of the most compelling lineups in our history with 3 different Raptors in our lineup, the reintroduction of Bronco. So there's a lot of things we're trying to do there. We're trying to promote our racing efforts across multiple series as well. We're hoping that if you like what we're doing in off-road, you're going to like what we're doing with sports car, with F1, and some of our developing projects, as well as testing. So we have a lot of new technology we like to go out there. It's a great way to prove what we're doing in a real world environment, and then that trickles down to the consumer eventually and makes better road going products. So it's sort of a multifaceted approach.
So you said you're promoting consumer products. Obviously, with the Raptors, you got Broncos and Raptors and, trucks and cars. Do most big budgets come from new product launches? Usually when you think of auto manufacturers, you think of all the money coming in around a big product launch. Is that where the budget comes from to sponsor off-road, or does it come from elsewhere?
Sometimes it does. So we definitely put a big push behind what we were doing with Bronco when that was coming out in 2020. Made a lot of efforts there, but we had a lot to prove. Had it come out of market for several years. We wanted really it to be a proving ground for it, a lot of testing, and we wanted to back up what we were saying. So there was a lot of support put behind that. But we also want to make sure that no one thinks we're resting on our laurels with anything. So we're still out there racing Broncos 4 years later, doing great things with it. We had 3 Broncos cross the finish line last week. So, it was great to see that. We're still testing and racing Raptors because we want to have it be a continuous improvement process. So we want customers to know, obviously, what's coming to market, what's new and exciting, but also that the things that we have out there are constantly being improved, constantly being developed, and getting better with every generation.
Is a lot of the sponsorship based on the transfer of technology? What you can do at the track goes into OEM vehicles, or is it more promotion and trying to sell more vehicles that are similar to the ones that are being raced?
It's a little bit of both. So obviously tech transfer is a big part. We're testing out shocks constantly in the off-road environment, new technologies there, trying to make those vehicles better, but also want people to know that the vehicles that they have in their driveway a lot of times are the same vehicle that we raced. So races like Rebel Rally, where we're running stock vehicles. Last year at the Baja 1000, we ran a stock Raptor R and a stock Bronco Raptor. Obviously, we had to put cages and safety features in them. But other than that, those are stock vehicles. So we've really tried to do as much as we can in the stock vehicle space and connect that to the customers' vehicles that they have.
So if I don't race a Bronco, don't race a Raptor, but I race a Ford, and my philosophy is, well, Ford, they make trucks, and all the races I go to, racers need to pull a trailer that usually has a car, a motorcycle, sometimes a boat or a toy hauler with a pickup truck. So my events are a logical market for your consumers, for your customers, because everybody who goes to my races, all the racers, they all need a pickup truck. Does that make sense in trying to market to them? Or are you still looking more to market a specific Bronco or a specific Raptor when I think I can market the Ford brand through my racing?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people are using our Super Duty pickup trucks or F-150s to get to the race. And those are definitely an avenue where we want to be a part of that. We want to be the truck that you rely on for getting your rig to the race, chasing the race. I mean, there's nothing better than being out there in a Raptor trying to keep up. And then we also want to be the truck that you want to compete against or compete with.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's now, I don't know how many people are out there racing their Fords, but at least they're street vehicles. But with the Raptors, I don't know. I think you're starting to cross a little boundary there. I've seen a lot of stuff with Raptors lately.
Yeah.
So when it comes to sponsorship, I'm a driver on the call. I think I'm a really good fit for Ford, but you'll have a lot of teams already. What's a way I can stand out and get your attention to try to pitch my program to you to show you where I think I can add value? Whether or not I'm right, I don't know yet, but I haven't even started the conversation yet. How can I get that conversation started?
I think doing a lot of research is the key, especially when approaching one of us on the Ford team. Knowing what Ford's doing and where our initiatives are, what's kind of coming to market, even if it's a little bit of rumors, but knowing what we're really about and what kind of products what we're into, where we're entering into racing, what areas are already covered. And I think by doing that, you'll help yourself stand out and can either apply your unique approach and explain to us why that would help what we're currently trying to achieve, or why that blends into what we're currently achieving and where we have a blind spot that we might need to fix.
How do I know who to reach out to at Ford? You're a really big company with a lot of marketing directors and many different departments. Where do I start just with the corporation itself? So I'm not, wasting someone else's time or annoying somebody, but I'm actually speaking to the right people to see if there's a good fit.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to reach out and get involved in anything with the racing program, it's going to be the team at Ford Performance. We do have a very large company with a lot of structures. So a lot of the brand teams and things like that, they're more focused on the consumer side. So when you see those people, they're going to be very polite and take your name, but they're not really going to be able to help you get the sponsorship that you want. So definitely look for the people in the blue Ford Performance shirts.
Okay. And you were mentioning do your research and your homework. So that means probably knowing what new product launches are coming up, what the budget cycle is. What is Ford's fiscal year? And what's your budget cycle? When do you make sponsorship decisions?
We run from January to December. So we'll be making decisions for 2025. We're already deep into that process, thinking about where we want to be, what we want to race. And when you start looking, especially at stock racing, a lot of those cycle plans, vehicles that are going to be coming to market that are interesting, that we want to promote, new technologies, were decided several years ago. So we're trying to keep up on those. But for prospective racers who want to know, I mean, reading about where we're going, our electrification, different vehicles, and trying to read a little bit between the lines there to see what kind of initiatives you want to push and what really makes us excited here at Ford, and trying to see how you can fit into that.
And what would move the needle? What would move the needle for a new driver, new team trying to reach out? Is it just because they've done homework and they know that you have a new product launch around a new brand? Um, Sometimes that's confidential or private information, so they won't
Yeah.
know that. But they like Ford. They know that their races are a lot of Ford potential customers. What would move the needle, and at least in getting that conversation started, so that a driver could attract your attention to continue a conversation, maybe form a relationship, so in a year or two they are sponsored?
Yeah, definitely. Doing that research about what we're doing currently so that they see, they know that we've raced Vegas to Reno. They know we had 3 Broncos there that finished first in their class, know there are other races we've competed in, see that we have certain areas that we're currently racing in and are excited about. They've come up and said hi to us, introduced themselves at races. So we can start building that rapport. And then as we go forward, they're able to make sort of that pitch and say, we know you've raced here, you did this in the past. It looked like it went well there. We would recommend this improvement, those kind of things, how they can stand out with what their personal brand is and how that would fit into what we're doing with Ford.
Cool. Are you looking for more teams right now?
Oh, we're not currently for the rest of the 2024 season. We're still getting things ready for 2025. We have a big year in 2025. Obviously, we have our Raptor T1 Plus that we debuted at Goodwood that will be going to Dakar, and we're all hands on deck for getting that together. But we're always looking for potential opportunities, especially in the later half of 2025, as we look at those races, and we haven't started all those builds yet.
What are you going to do at Goodwood? That's one of Farley's favorite events, by the way. What's at Goodwood? I've never been.
That's
I've
where
never
we,
been to that. I'm
yeah,
ashamed to say, but I'd love to go sometime.
it's an exciting adventure. I was unable to attend this year, but we had our Raptor T1 Plus for Dakar come out there,
Nice.
took it up the hill, as they say, and it premiered very well. So trying to push the envelope and really compete on the global off-road stage with effort for the car.
That's cool. So then let's say I did get your attention, not just you personally, Matt Winter with Ford Global Off-Road Performance, but anybody at Ford in a different marketing division, and it seems to make sense. What does a sponsorship typically look like? If I'm a new young driver team and I have a pretty good program, where can I create value for you, and what would you want from me, and what can you give me back in return? Is it media? Is it marketing? Is it dollars? Is it product? Is it discount? What does a sponsorship look like?
Yeah, definitely. So for a lot of the new drivers, we're looking at what you have on social media, that unique voice that you're able to bring, and then what your content creation capabilities are. Obviously, in the off-road space, it's very hard to create content. There's a lot of miles out there. We can't put a camera behind every cactus, unfortunately. So having a unique way of shooting, having a good way of getting that content out there, showing that you're established, and that we're not going to have to come in with a lot of cameras and build you up, provide a lot of that resource. You're already camera ready and have a good way of getting that out there. We're definitely excited about those kind of teams that are well established and aren't going to have issues. If they break down, they're going to be able to fix them. They're problem solvers. Those are things that we're definitely looking for in future teams. And what we're going to be able to bring to the table is introducing you to our global audience, getting you out there on those cross promotions to other racers. We'd like to really connect our drivers, connect it to Ford family, and having all those pieces together so that we're promoting everything together. We want it all to work in unison and have a really good system in place, as well as we would provide some extra support. One of the best perks is you can hopefully get a Raptor to go chase the race with and provide promotion on and off the course, obviously. So
I like that cross promotions you were talking about with other teams, and I'm assuming probably other brands as well. If there's wheel or tire or suspension brands, especially as you mentioned you were testing suspension at some events. Um, could that lead to a potential sponsorship if, let's say, I have a shock sponsor and that's starting to work out, that the shocks do really well on, let's say, the Raptor, and might Ford be interested in sponsoring me if I'm sponsored, let's say, by Fox or King, and I'm doing really well, and maybe there's a transfer of technology from my car to Ford's vehicles. Is that a way to
definitely.
open that door?
Yes, those kind of connections can be great. We definitely take recommendations from our partners. We have a lot of long-term partners who we've had great success with in the past, and
Okay.
working with them, we take their recommendations very seriously. And if they give us a thumbs up that this is someone that they'd like to work with, they have a great track record with, we'll definitely take a good look at them.
And that's logical. I mean, that makes sense. If a brand does a good job and works well with the team, that's usually a good sign that that's a good team to sponsor.
Yeah,
That what kind of reporting? Let's say now I have been sponsored by Ford. What do I need to do to renew that sponsorship? What kind of reporting do you look at, or do you look at any kind of metrics? Do you look at proof of performance reports? How do I keep renewing? 'Cause there's so much going on in the world. You're obviously not watching all the races that I'm going to. It's impossible. So I need to report to you to show you what I've done. What are the effective ways for me to communicate what I've done to you and help Ford so that it increases my chances of renewal?
sure. Yeah, we use Hookit to track a lot of social performance, as I think was mentioned earlier.
Okay.
And those are going to be where a lot of the metrics come, how you're performing in those kind of posts. We do have requirements normally around what's going to be done for on track and the promotion of racing, what you're doing on the course, as well as off the racetrack, and how we look at your social promotion and those kind of things in addition to that. So we'll look at those kind of metrics, see how the brand's promoting, how your audience is growing, those kind of things. We do like to see a lot of growth, especially once you get into the Ford ecosystem and you're being promoted through our various different networks. So we'll check those kind of metrics, and then obviously racetrack performance, how the podiums are going, those kind of things, and how you're progressing up the ladder. So if it's a finish and learn kind of effort, we'll like to see that driver development, see that you're improving. And then if it's one of our more competitive efforts, that we're getting closer to on the podium every time. So.
Well, I told you this is going to go fast. I can't believe we only have 1 minute left, so I'm just going to ask real quick. Anything I didn't bring up? Any last words of advice, tips, tricks, things that you've learned over the years? Advice you have to racers on the call, not just specifically with Ford, but just in sponsorships in general.
Yeah, definitely. The people that I like to work with the most are the people that are just the easiest. They're problem solvers. Be that kind of person that people want to sponsor. Be the partner if there is a problem. Bring solutions, not problems to us. Those kind of things. It just makes you easier to work with. You're going to get those kind of recommendations. It's going to open doors. and it helps you be more authentic in the space, I think.
Right on. Well, thank you, Matt. Thank you. And thank you, Ford, for sponsoring off-road and being more involved in motorsports. That's with Ford's involvement, motorsports can grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.